Hello everyone, as of today I'm recording this video. We're a little bit over 2 months until Endwalker early access, so it's time to mention some of the things I'm personally prepping for the expansion. So the first thing that is important, I think, it's XP buffs. All sorts of XP buffs are really important, and there are a few types of XP buffs you can get in the game. There is the grade 3 FC buffs if you're running an FC. Then you can craft these at the company workshop if you have the blueprints for them. You can craft these and charge them. Each of them take 3 days to charge. They give 5% more XP buff than the grade 2 FC buffs that you can buy with the FC credit. So these are way better, and there is a version for increasing battle XP as well, and there is XP for crafting and gathering as well. So that's one of type of XP buff you can focus on. There is another type of buff you can get from the squadron missions, level 50 or 40. Level 50 gives 5 extra than level 40, so I recommend doing those. There is all type of buffs that the XP ones are equivalent to the FC buff. So for example, if you get the Squadron Battle XP buff, yeah, here it is. So it's also 15%, just like the wheel that you charge at Free Company, but these only last for 2 hours. But for example, if you have this popped, they do not stack with the FC buff. You only get 15% max. However, since you only can pop 2 FC buffs at one given time, you can mix it up. For example, you can pop the XP buff for battle with FC, the 15% for FC, while running gatherer XP buff for yourself, for example. This way you have more slots, and multiple squadron XP buffs stack with each other, so you can pop both crafter and gatherer at the same time. So I think this is the most important thing to prep for the expansion out of everything. Not to mention, these manuals for crafter and gatherer XP also stack with the revised manuals. You can get the revised manuals with yellow crafter scripts for the crafter one and yellow gatherer scripts for the gatherer one. Revised manual, and it gives insane amount of extra XP, up to 12 million while you are crafting. Extremely good to use while quicksynthing. You get most out of it that way. And you can easily get scripts. If you are too lazy and don't want to gather yellow scripts or crafter yellow scripts, you can just do your weekly custom deliveries. Every week you can just get them really quickly, and just until expansion, just stack up all these manuals for yourself. Highly recommend it, since you can stack it with the FC or squadron buff. It will be huge. It will make leveling crafters and gatherers extremely faster. The next thing that I am prepping personally, this is just quality of life, I think. Because we don't know 100% how the Materia system will be in Endwalker, but by doing the allowance project, I have accumulated so much materia of my own. Look at that. Grade 7 and grade 8 crafter materia. I will link the efficiency guide in the video description, how I go about this, making millions of gil while farming materia at the same time with the allowance project. So you can get a lot of materia prep for expansion. I'm not sure about grade 8. I don't think it will be that great, but grade 7 for 4th and 5th overmelts are gonna be extremely valuable. Even if they add grade 9 and 10, grade 10 obviously will be the new grade 8, so grade 8 will not be relevant anymore, as you can only overmelt one copy of it. So at that point you'd rather overmelt grade 10. So grade 8 won't be as good, but grade 7 will still be extremely overpriced and important for the last slots of the melt, just to finish them off. If you can't afford grade 9 obviously, because at the end of the day grade 9 will still yield better stats if they add 9 and 10. So this is kind of a gamble, but there is certain certainty in it because we already experienced every expansion, and every expansion they've added new tier of materia. So you could sell the grade 8 right now before expansion while keeping the grade 7 for yourself for future use. And the next thing we come to is gear. Gear is really important as well, in my opinion. Especially if you want to follow my macros when I level 80 to 90. This is the gear I'll be focusing on. I will put the melts in the video description. This is the set I will be using leveling 80 to 90 with all of my crafters. Obviously, I will also do a new beginner's guide, level 1 to 90, where I will do it with less gear. I will provide macros with way minimum stats, let's say. But for initially, when the early access comes out, this is the gear I'll be focusing on. So this will be a version of a guide leveling, and then for those of you who have followed the melts, you can still follow me in Endwalker. But yeah, those of you who have time, I do recommend getting the expensive melts, or at least just the cheap melts. The only difference of the expensive and cheap melts are the extra control. You need less HQ mats with the expensive melts. Otherwise, craftsmanship-wise, there is no difference, so you don't have to worry about it. You can do the cheap version as well. You can still follow my macros with the cheap version, as the craftsmanship will not change. Because the craftsmanship of the cheap and expensive melts are the same. But I am also using relic tools, 510. I also have guides for doing the relic, which I provided macros and rotation for the last step in the video description as well, if you want to get the relic as well. The relic and crafted, if you pentamill the crafted, the stat difference are negligible. So you don't have to worry about it. If you don't have the time to do the relic, you can just do the crafter one and still follow my macros. Let's not forget about retainer gear as well. It's really important to prep. So for battle retainers, this is my plan, what I'm going with. Full 510 set. For battle retainer, HQ and stats don't matter at all. The only thing they care about is item level. And 510 will last until level 83. Because the latest crafter set back in Stormblood lasted until level 73 in Shadowbringers. So I'm just going by that formula that this will last until level 73 items. And even then you won't need to upgrade the whole set. At that point you just need to upgrade a couple pieces just to up the item level a little bit more, and little by little, and you can still go for the items that will be at that level. So I highly recommend the 510 set for your battle retainers. It's really gonna give you a good kickstart in Endwalker. So yeah, you don't have to worry about HQ. You can just NQ it and just give it to them to equip it. This is a personal prep that I've done, just an experiment I want to do. I made an alt just for battle retainers alone. So I have 10 white mages gonna be ready for by the time Endwalker come out, all at 80 and with 510s gear. And because at the beginning of expansions, the materials battle retainer bring back are extremely expensive because of the demand. It's way easier to have retainers go after them than you waste time and hunt those materials. Especially skin and fleece materials for weaver and leatherworker are extremely demanded and overpriced. So I wanna be able to have just one character dedicated to this. And I'm gonna show you what I have planned to level up my own character so that the retainers can also level at least for the beginning. So what you want to do is prep the Wanderer's Tales, because the early access comes out on Friday. You can prep the Wanderer's Tales at 9 stickers, and at any level it will give you half of your XP bar. So it doesn't matter what level you are, it's always like half of your XP bar after you finish Wanderer's Tales. So prep 1 book of Wanderer's Tales so you can hand it in as soon as early access comes out. This way that's already a half XP bar towards level 81, so that you can kickstart your retainers on the alt. And not to mention, you can do the same with challenge log, the battle XP for challenge log. You can like be 1 away from finishing it and then do the last one when Endwalker comes out, so you can get the XP for it. Can do the same with the Fate for battle XP, just be 1 away from finishing. At least the one with the 5 you can. Same thing with the Leaf quests. You can just do the Mordona Leaf quest, just prep to be 1 away from completing it. And I think with all those added up and couple roulettes, it will be really good to kickstart you to level 81. And then you can get the materials for level 81 at that point. Now this is all hypothetical. I don't know how insane queues will be, so probably not gonna be that ideal to log out and then log back in with an alt. That's probably not feasible when early access comes out. But you can at least do this, like, even if you don't do it on the Friday, maybe you can try it on the Monday before reset. By then not as many people are logging, or maybe you can do it at a time when the server have less traffic, like really late at night or really early in the morning. At that point it will be a bit more possible to do. But this is just an experiment. I want to see if this will work out well. This is just my personal thing I want to share that I'm planning. This is not something you need to do, or it's just an idea. I want to see if it will work. But gearing the retainer is, I recommend it for your main anyway. This is part of the preps. For your main character, if you have battle retainers, do get the 510 set. It's really good quality of life to have a kickstart. Alright, as for Gatherer Retainer, we're going for the white script set, left side, and tools. You can... forgot to equip the gloves. You can get the white script set while doing the custom deliveries and get the revised manuals with the yellow scripts. So you're getting both yellow and white while doing custom deliveries. So spend the white scripts on this, left side and tools, item level 500. Spend the yellow scripts on revised manuals, as I mentioned earlier. As for the accessories, just go for the regular level 80 accessories, HQ, and just cap gathering on them. The only thing you should worry about for gatherer retainers is the gathering stats. So with this you will be able to have a really good kickstart as well. Probably up to level 82 at least. And then you can just upgrade bits and pieces of the left side to gain extra gathering, if you wanted to. Also, I want to mention that they have changed, I don't know when they did this, but they have changed Quick Venture. Now Quick Venture have a fixed amount of XP. It's a lot of XP, by the way. Even if you have 0 item level, it's still the same XP. So it's really quick to level up retainers now, doing Quick Venture. It took me only 3 weeks to get to 1 to 80 for retainers, so it's really quick that way. Also, is that hat is on a Viera? I just noticed, like, I guess some hats do work for Viera, I suppose. Oh, that's pretty nice. Alright, so there you go, that's for Gatherer Retainers. That is my plan at least. I think it will work out just well. And when it comes to crafting materials, what to prep? If we look back in the past, like beginning of Stormblood, they used Heavensward materials like Crawler Silk and so on. Just an example. And beginning of Shadowbringers, they reuse Stormblood materials like beetle glue and bright linen yarn, for example. So I think, and Smilodus skin, no, that's actually Shadowbringers, never mind. But yeah, as you can see, some materials, not too many materials, but some materials from previous expansion is reused. Even materials from 2 expansions ago, as you can see. Aurum, Ridges, Nuggets is Heavensward. So you can't go wrong with prepping materials. Depending on how many retainers you are running, how much you can prep, how much you have room for, basically. I also want to give a tip here. You can make a storage alt. What is a storage alt, you may ask? Basically a new character you create in the same server, same FC, just for extra storage. You just have to play like 3 hours of story to get to unlocking retainers. And you can transfer between your main character and this new storage alt that you created with the FC chest, if you have access to the FC chest. So if you don't want to pay for extra retainers, that is one thing you can do. And if you are having additional retainers, retainers are account-wide. So if you have 4 retainers on your main, your storage alt will also have access to all of them. So that's a tip, I guess. And another tip for saving storage is that only keep materials that is worth at least 10k. If what is occupying the inventory slot isn't worth at least 10k, just resell it or remove it. It's not worth occupying one inventory space if that's low value. But for example, it's 90 of the same item that is valuable. Obviously, you want to keep it. And so yeah, materials, it's hard to say what to prep, but you can always prep crystals, shards, and clusters. The more you prep, the better. There is just no limit how much you could be prepping. My plan is at least 50k wind crystals. Wind crystal is the most used crystal in the game. Like, so many classes use it. There is none of the other crystals gets used as much as wind crystal, which is why it's always the most priced one most of the time. Alright, when it comes to currency, I think venture is the most important one to prep. Especially if you are running multiple retainers, it's important to get the most out of it. So you're gonna need way more ventures. Running 10 retainers, I'm planning to be at least 5,000 ventures at early access. So the way I get venture is doing quick ventures. Quick ventures get you these green gear that you hand in at the Grand Company for extra seals. So doing quick venture, you will go profit in venture by a lot, because most of the time quick venture bring these back and you can turn it for a lot of seals, especially if you are level 80 retainers and gear them up. You get the level 80 gear and they go for a lot of seals. And what you can do to increase the efficiency of that as well is use the squadron manual, priority seal allowance. There is also an FC version of this, which is called Seal Sweetener. It increases this one increases your seal bonus by 15%. So what you do is like run quick ventures for a couple days until you run out of storage, and just keep piling up, and then you pop one of these bad boys and go to town. Usually I make at least 2k ventures in profit by doing that. It's a lot of seals from those gear. So that's the way to go to prep seals. And to prep venture, sorry. Or to spend seals on them. So there is my tip for that. You can if you're someone who's actively doing the hunt as well. The hunt is also a good way to get ventures, but I don't do the hunt, so my preferred way is this, and it's really a good way to get them. Obviously it will occupy your retainer, so you can't send them out to get materials when you do this, but do it like few days a week and you should be good. But yeah, I think that's pretty much what I'm planning to prep for Endwalker. I also have many alt characters that hopefully I will have the time to catch them up with story. Obviously, it's the most important thing. This is the obvious one, that's why I shouldn't even need to mention it, but yeah, if you have running alt characters, story, catch up with the story so they have access to Endwalker instantly. But yeah, it's more of those. It's more for those of us who are altoholic. Otherwise, yeah, that's it. If you think there is something I didn't mention and you think it's really important, feel free to leave it in the comments. Thank you so much for watching and hope you found this helpful. If you did, please like, favorite, subscribe and share the video. And I will see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.